What's up, people? So I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Drivas. Nick, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Man, I am fucking winning. It has been a minute, bro, and I am just happy to be here today.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you. It's been a long time since I've spoken with you. Um, so for anyone that's watching who has clicked on this, why don't you give them some context on how we know each other and why we're even here?
Yeah, so this goes back. I'll just explain overall. So I was a 10 plus year porn addict before meeting Ben, and it fucked up my life completely. I literally was on the verge of committing suicide. It was getting that bad. I literally would try to shave myself, because I'm all about fitness, trying to get right, trying to get my physique right when before I met Ben. And I would try to look all aesthetic. I didn't have the physique I have now, by the way, but I would literally try to shave myself, but I would purposely cut myself. That's how bad this addiction was getting. And I knew Ben through a couple of guys that I knew in another community. So I was on the verge of just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to stop this addiction. I need to get myself right. So I hop over to Ben, I hit him in the DM, and then we just got on a call and then we just made it happen. And he taught me a lot about how I could conquer this addiction, get this over. It was like I believe like a 6 week program. And throughout that program, it did help. But Ben, I'm gonna be honest, then it came back even harder. And it got like really bad once again. And I had to really level up my life through a lot of personal development. So I invested into another coach. And then from there, I just started to focus on what was important. So that purpose is what I found through my personal development process. And it's the program now that I teach to my clients. And it's the program that saved my life from that porn addiction, feeling like shit. I felt weak as an individual many times along my journey, many times just in that bathroom, just jerking the fuck out of my dick, and my consciousness saying, literally, Nick, you have to like do something about this. You can't be doing this over and over again, because it was getting so bad. Literally 2 to 3 times a day, I was in that bathroom and feeling like dog shit every time I released. And it just felt I was digging a deeper hole every time that I did this. And this was, again, over a span of 10 years, me trying to always chase a goal. In high school, it was basketball. I was trying to get to the NBA. Never even made the school team because I was so attached to the porn. I had no confidence. I had no belief when it was time to step up, to go out on that court, to show to these coaches what I was made of. When it was go time, non-existent. And I would beat the fuck out of myself, and then I would go beat the fuck out of my dick to make me feel something. And it didn't do anything. I was just using it as a scapegoat. But once I found, years later, my personal development process, working on myself, the work instills the worth. It's the purpose over the pleasures. And once I found just this time period of working on myself constantly, every single day, rep after rep, repetition is the mother of skill. I found the answers come from within. And ever since then, I've just been able to work on myself, get better as an individual, and literally over this past year, been able to level up physically, financially, spiritually. I just surpassed $10,000 in a month in my own business. Before I met Ben, I was literally, again, I was on the verge of just committing suicide because there was nothing coming into my bank account. I was trying to run my fitness business and nothing was working. And now we're here 13, 14, 14 months later, and everything is just 360. But it's because I put a lot of work into myself, a lot of investments, going to a lot of top individuals, a lot of coaches, including Ben. And it's because I cared so much about getting myself out of that situation and making all these investments to eventually become this individual that I am now, and that I still every single day continue to get better as that individual into my 10.0 self.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Thank you for
Crazy.
sharing.
Yeah.
Man, like, yeah, I see you. I watch your, I follow you. I see you're the real deal. You're no joke. This guy is, he inspires me. I watch him like this guy's a beast, man, and that's why I wanted to have you on today. But what would you? So the guy you are now, right? Hitting 10K months, best shape of your life. Connecting with super high level people. living your absolute best life. If you could go back in time and say one thing to that version of yourself that was, you know, at that point of thinking about taking his own life, if you had, you know, one sentence you could say, what would you go back and say to him?
I would say become the source of what you seek. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, because literally when I was on the verge of suicide, so for more context, this was around June, like summer of 2022. That's when it was like very dark thoughts. I remember making voice memos too in my phone and crying and saying to myself, I'm gonna kill myself, all these things. You know, I did it over like attempts, drowning myself in the bathtub. And yeah, now I would say like become the source of what you seek. Would your 10.0 self, the best version of Nick, or whoever your name is, right? Whoever you are as an individual, would they be talking to themselves like that? Would they be attempting things like that? No, that's at your 1.0 self. The 10.0 self would feel confident, look, as a badass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like looking just top notch, you know, like literally all these things, and not involving themselves in those thoughts, actions, and energy, right? So just focusing on a higher frequency. So I'm all about frequencies and vibrations, and every day we're either operating from a low frequency or we're operating from a high frequency. So I just choose every single day through my non-negotiable daily process a high frequency, because I know if I didn't do my process today, I would be in a low ass frequency on this podcast with you right now. You know what I'm saying? So I just choose every single day to be at that high frequency, because those thoughts, I will say, like G shit, they come back. It actually happened yesterday, and I've been sick for a little bit. So there's that part of me that's like, you got to take it easy and all these things. And I have been, but not to the point where I'm just stalling on my process. But my process has been a little bit tweaked since then. And I notice, those thoughts start to come back, right? Or even just with the porn, it's like I'll rest a little bit, then I go on my phone, and then I catch myself sometimes just looking at chicks, and I'm like, whoa, that's not 10.0 Nick. Like, I had to cut off TikTok. I'm like, Nick, you're not even using TikTok right now. Just delete the app. So I just keep aligning with my 10.0 self. So that's what I would tell the version of me that was, down in that fucking basement, jerking his dick 2-3 times a day and feeling like shit and wanted to commit suicide. Because I just had to align. You just have to align the best version of you and see if that version of you at that very moment is aligning with your 10.0 self or not. If it's not, then you need to cut it out. That's it. That is simple. Done.
100%. So be the source of what you seek, as in what you seek isn't outside of you. It can only be found within you. Is that kind of what you mean by that?
So yeah, so being from within, right? But it's also like where you align as the best version of yourself. So that again, the answers all come from within, but are you able to align with that vision, that process, that, as I was saying, like that non-negotiable daily process? Would the best version of you who is seeking those answers, would he be having those thoughts? Would he have a shit process, or would he have a process that's non-negotiable? He works towards it every single day, and he's able to do this no matter what, how he feels, whatever is going on in his life, because he knows that that process specifically is going to make him the best possible version. Maybe not right then in that moment, or maybe it does. It may be able to flip your mindset, your perspective, but also just for years to come. Because I wasn't doing that process back in 2022 in the summer. I was fucking sleeping in, jerking my dick, eating like shit, very antisocial, not wanting to leave my house. And now it's like the total opposite, but it's because I'm just working towards that grand vision for myself as a man and as that individual, to be that offering as well to the world.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, it sounds like you've got, and I like your honesty there, saying, if you fall off, or if you're out of line or you're out of tune, that little bitch voice comes back, that little negative, that little negative voice in your head. And I think a lot of people deal with that, a lot of people have that. And the problem is not all of them are able to get hold of it, but you have.
Yeah. And I've come to the realization is it's because of all the work that I've done. So if I didn't have all that work, that voice wouldn't be saying, so you have the bitch voice, then you have your real ass voice in your head, like the consciousness voice, like, hey, Nick, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be looking at girls. You know what you got to be doing. So now that I have all these reps under my belt, I'm so massively ahead. I can know, like, oh shit, Nick, you can't be doing that. Like, you know what's the better, answer. Like, once you get exposed, you can't go unexposed. So I've been exposed to a different lifestyle, different purpose, a better life overall. So now when I go back into the, let's say, the 3D world, right? I'm able to realize the two voices very clearly, but and say, oh shit, no, fuck, I'm out of alignment. Fuck, you need to stop doing that or saying that, right? Because then I can be like, oh shit, okay, let's just do this with action. Like, gratitude is action. So I was able to say in that moment, like, let's just say before, where I deleted TikTok yesterday, if I didn't delete TikTok, I would still be scrolling on that shit. Probably, I don't know, maybe I would have relapsed. I haven't relapsed since July of 2022. But it was getting there. Those thoughts started really to come back up. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, like, that pleasure is really starting to kick in. And that voice was like, Nick, you need to stop. You need to realize that this is only going to make you go backwards if you continue to do this. So I was like, you know what? I have to listen to consciousness. This is what it's telling me. Consciousness is basically the authentic voice of guide. It's guiding you in the right direction of the next stepping stone that you need to take. So with me right now, I'm a little bit sick. I'm still showing up here, but
Man, you don't look it. You don't look it, bro.
I know,
Bro,
but
this is you sick. What is the 100% version?
Yeah, I know it's crazy. It's like, bro, there's times too where I just say to myself, I'm like, I don't even participate in that fucking shit. I'm just like, fuck that shit, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So like yesterday I was just like resting a little bit, and I'm just the scrolling, and then I'm just like, fuck this. I don't need the shit. It's not serving me any purpose. I know that it's just a pleasure seeking mechanism. So why would I continue to do this? This doesn't align with the man that I want to become, to be. It's like literally the who factor, right? The who as an individual. How do I see myself? Who do I want to become eventually? So me just scrolling all fucking day on TikTok, watching girls shake their ass, like, it wasn't getting to that extent, but just chicks I was watching. And then I'm like, what is this doing right now? This doesn't help me one bit. So me having that level of awareness, that took a lot of time, and that took a lot of reps, because there's many men, especially, and young guys too, where their awareness levels, because I'm 23, and guys my age and a little bit younger or even older, I've seen it all. I've heard it all, where they don't have this level of awareness. They don't know the real ass voice or the consciousness voice, or the bitch voice that's in their head. Most of the time, they're just listening to that bitch voice. They're giving into those temptations, those pleasures, that peer pressure from others. Me, I'm just like, fuck you, motherfuckers. I'm gonna do my own shit. But the darkest thing with me is literally my own head. My own head will try to take control. It's never been other people for the most part. It's always been myself when I'm in those moments. Can I make that decision to stay disciplined or not?
100%, man. Yeah, and it's that kind of that battle every single day. Like they say, every single choice you've made in your life has led you to this moment right here. Every choice you made, every choice I made, it leads to this. So, and like you said, a lot of guys, I don't know. I think a lot of guys are conscious of that. I know what you're talking about. There's this kind of built-in kind of, you say it's a voice. I say it's more a compass. It's like a feeling, like this deep-rooted feeling of like, this isn't good. After you watch the video, it's like, you don't need someone to teach you. It's wrong. For some reason this ain't right. And no one's teaching you because you're doing it in private. There's no one there saying, don't watch porn, don't watch porn. But when you after you've done the thing, it's like, man, what am I doing? And some guys don't care, but some guys like yourself and myself and many other people, they use that as a compass, and they go, right, I need to get out of this, I need to break free from this. So yeah, that's super powerful, man.
Yeah, like literally it's intuition. too.
Yeah,
Like
that's it.
it was in that moment back in July of 2022. Round two of the day, it was like around like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I have like two bathrooms in my house. I'm fucking weird where like round one would be upstairs. I remember that morning. And then I would go downstairs into my other bathroom. So I'm like, oh, this one's clean. I can jerk my dick all over this one now. So I remember being there downstairs and I just released all over the fucking toilet seat. I see pools of semen and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to stop. I literally remember, like, to be very graphic, when it was actually coming out of my dick, it was yelling at me so hard that, yo, you can't be doing, like, this is so bad. Like, what the fuck is going on? And I would have panic attacks, by the way, anxiety, depression, all the time from doing this. And then ever since then, I haven't had literally anything like that
Mm.
because I've stayed in alignment. I've stayed at my 10.0 self. I see where my vision and my process goes every single day. And it's just through the habits that I do. That's all it is. And I'm not really focused on the results throughout this program that I'm on and this process. It's more about just the habits and creating that individual that can just be that offering to the world. And it's all just through the habits that I do, because that's what's going to make me not go back to that addiction, not go back to any vices, right? Because I wasn't um literally the kid or the guy that drank a lot, smoked. I was never involved in those crowds. They always asked me to be around it. But my main thing was porn. And when I used to tell people too, because I would lie in high school, I was like, no, I don't watch porn. I don't do that shit. They would be like, oh, how? But then, like, in secret in high school, I was like watching so much fucking porn, like when I got home. And I felt like such a, like, just, I don't know, fucking imposter, I guess, if you want to call it. Um, but yeah, they just made me feel some type of way. So I have like this competition in mindset in my head too, where I'm like, nah, they don't fucking know me. I'll prove them wrong. But then I would like prove it with watching porn. I don't know. It was weird. My mindset is pretty fucked. But it was it was interesting in high school where that was my main vice. Like, people out here, they'd be like to me, oh, well, you have a porn addiction. You know, you never went through like alcohol, like, withdrawals or anything. I'm like, dude, it's all the same fucking shit. It's an addiction at the end of the day. Like, whatever addiction you're going through, I can help you get there. Like, it's fucking easy. It's all through this process that I know because I've stuck through it. I just do it no matter how I fucking feel. It's non-negotiable, and it's working on self. Self-mastery is the key to unlocking all new levels in whatever you're trying to do in this life. Because the best thing that you can do is work on yourself. Don't try to help others until you are able to help yourself. So literally help yourself first, get out of the situation that you're in, because I used to try to help people and they wouldn't listen to me. I'm like, why are they not listening to me? And I'm like, oh, because you don't have the results yourself, Nick. You look like a piece of shit. You feel like shit. Even the tone of your voice, the way it's coming off, is disgusting. So why would anybody listen to you or trust in you? So once I started to work on myself so much and master self, and I still am to this day, this shit never stops. Then people started to take notice and listen to me. Another thing as well is when I was in the gym before, when I was masturbating so fucking much, nobody would come up to me in the gym to ask even for a spot or even chicks. Now I'm just like, fuck off. Can you get away from me? Because it's so many people. And it's like, it's my energy, it's my presence. And again, it all goes back to my process. To keep it simple, it's the process that you do every single day, regardless of what's going on in your life. And I'm all about habits and building just an unbreakable individual through habitual construction.
Bro, crazy, crazy, man. So okay, Nick, you've mentioned the process many times now. Are you gonna reveal it? Are you gonna reveal it to us, or is it classified information?
No, no, no. I'm totally fine with revealing. I was waiting for you to ask about it, like literally. So it
Yeah, I
just
am. This is me asking
oh,
about. I'm curious.
perfect. Okay, perfect. So you watch me on my Instagram and whatnot. So it's literally just my process every single day. So for me, it's a early morning wake up. For me, that's 4 a.m. For somebody else, it may be 4:30, it may be 5 o'clock, it may be 6 o'clock, whatever. And mind you, I didn't start at 4 o'clock. I had to start, I think it was like 6:15, 6:30 once I first started this process. Then I dialed it all the way down to 4 o'clock. It was just through the reps that I did. I started getting more comfortable. I started to tighten up the process. So just keep that in mind. But 4 a.m. wake up, then I go into my breakfast routine. It's usually a supplement post that I do. But then I'm going into my workout. I'm going into my reading. So I'm reading something, either if it's just a short little quote or it's a just one page of something to get my mind right for the day. And then I go
like
into
this, like this.
yes, exactly. That's the book right there.
You put me onto it.
Yeah, dude, such a powerful book. I just regurgitate that motherfucker every single day. I'm like, everybody asks, like, what's that book? What's that book? I'm like, bro, is it really about the book or like you? Because it'd be like some fat dude. And I'm like, bro, is it really the book that's going to help you? Or is it about like dropping some fucking weight and feeling confident with taking your shirt off at the beach? I think that's what it's about, because we don't have a fucking education issue. We have an application issue out here. These guys out here that are asking for like the books, I know like you're on your shit, so it's different, you know, like you're in shape. I see you working out and all that shit, like nonstop. So it's like, but people that are fat as fuck, like just trying to get more knowledge, you don't need more knowledge. What you need is an application process. And this right here, what I'm explaining, is going to be perfect. So it's an early morning wake up, going to breakfast, and then going into reading, just a quick quote or blurb. And then I go into my workout. So now I'm raising my vibration. My frequency is going to be at an all-time high. I'm going to be in that peak performance when I'm in that gym. So this is allowing me to just get rid of literally everything that is holding me back, everything that is bothering me, maybe from the previous day. Maybe a sale didn't go through, or somebody just pissed me off. I don't fucking know, some shit just in general on the street. If I'm able to hit that workout and change my mindset, change my attitude, because once we leave the gym, like, we feel so much better. We want to hold the door for anybody that comes in, because me here in New York, nobody likes to hold the door for people when I just go to fucking, I don't know, the movies or some shit. And it's like, what the fuck? Why does nobody like to hold the door? And it's because they're in a low frequency state. But once you leave that gym, literally everyone hold that door, smiles. Hey, what's your name? Even all these nice things. And it's because you're in that elevated state. So my main thing, I got to go hit a workout, or I'm just doing something from home. Like right now, I'm sick. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hit some push-ups in the morning, get right, and just keep it moving for the day. Then I go into either some more reading, if I just did like a quick blurb, or I go into some journaling. The journaling is going to be very important, because this is where you learn about yourself. And you want to be doing this shit every single day. You can't do this for 5 days and expect great results. I did it every fucking day and still do. So this is where you learn literally about yourself. When you do this with reading, you're learning other people's perspectives. When you write in a journal and you're writing down your wins and you're writing on what you can improve upon yourself to get better for the day, this is where you're learning about yourself and where you're heading on your timeline. Now, the timeline basically is your 10.0 self, as I've explained before. And if you're not in alignment with that 10.0 self, let's say, for instance, you went to the gym that morning and you got your wins, you're stacking your macros, you hit your weights, you hit some PRs, but you saw this chick in there and you couldn't go up to her. So then when you wrote down in your journal for that day, like, fuck, I wasn't able to go up to this chick. Let me see what I can do tomorrow to fix that. Why was I scared? Like, really break it fucking down to the core and say, why was I not able to do that? Because the 10.0 Nick would just be like, no hesitation, I'm gonna just go up to the chick and say what's up and then take it from there, get her number even, and then bag her and then fuck the shit out of her eventually. Like, that's just me. You know, and a long-lasting relationship, obviously, on top of that. That's me. But literally down to, how can you get that, or who do you have to be? It's who, not how. So literally, who do you have to become in that moment to say, this is so easy for me to go up to that chick when I'm in the gym, and this is the easiest process and easiest outline when you're writing it down as well. Because if you make it like so complicated, don't do that. Just say, okay, I got to do this, this, and this, And then the next day, then you just got to go apply it. So I've done that in the past, and then that shit worked. And then that kept me going. And then that gave me more confidence. So I focus on specifically in my journal process, first the wins to build my confidence for the day, because confidence is the byproduct of consistently implementing on a daily basis. So start off with the wins, right? So I build up the confidence, and then I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, now I'm good. Now I'm going to focus on what the fuck I need to work on specifically for that day. Something from either that morning that was like iffy that I could work on better, or from the previous day. So that part specifically has helped me a ton because I'm not a big writer. I get fucking lazy sometimes with it, but once I do it, fuck, that shit fucking works. And then that allows me for the rest of the day to keep hitting my macros. That's the next thing, hitting my macro goals for my diet, because I know if that's off, then I'm not gonna look the way I do, shredded or on my reverse diet for putting on size. So being able to do that every single day is also stacking wins on top of it. So it's only around like 4 to 5 things that I do. But once again, this is something that I've just established and I've been able to just do over and over again. It's simple, and it's simple for a reason, because it fucking works. And being able to do this, it has just led me to more opportunities and just more income, more physically, spiritually tapping into myself. And then I've been able to find the answers literally, if it's been on the notepad, or maybe just when I'm out in public, or maybe just literally, I don't know, in that workout. It can be in so many different areas that I found the answers of the next stepping stones for myself, alongside my grand vision that I'm striving for. Along this whole timeline, once again, these are all the different points along it. When I'm doing this process, it's telling me what is that next step to get from here to here to here to eventually get to that grand vision.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff, but it's also not at the same time. And would you say you find, like, when you stack these wins and these habits, with how long did it take? Like, is it something that never gets easier? Does it get easier? Is it just second nature now for you? Like, how does that work? Is there days do you ever miss days? Do you ever do you ever have off days? Or are you just this elite guy that is absolutely perfect?
No, I mean, I will say, like, I'm not, in a sense, the perfect individual by far, but I do not miss with it. I do not miss, even if it has to come down to that last minute of the day, and I don't have a journal on me, and I just write it in my phone on my notes section, and I'd be like, wins, 10-12, and I just say, excuse me, hold on, literally 10 wins, 10-12, and then I'm like, fuck yeah, winning. Did a workout just from home. I was able to send out 30 messages, I was able to do this, I closed this deal. Whatever is happening for that day, if it's at the end of the day, if I can't hit it in the morning for some odd reason, like recently I was traveling, right? So I had 2 masterminds in the past week alone. So it was very quick, like back and forth, coming home, then going back out. So I literally had to write them in my phone, because with my journal, it was just on constant go mode. When I went to Mexico, and then I came back for a couple of days, and then I went to Florida. So it was like real quick. In Mexico, I was able to do it. But then when I went to Florida, we were just on go mode like every second. So I was like, fuck, I don't have the time to bust out the journal, writing that. But when we would take Ubers, that's when I would write in my journal. Or when we went to the beach and we had a little bit of downtime, that's where I was able to just write in my phone at least. And I noticed that even doing it a little bit later, I was still a little bit iffy compared to when it was like super fucking dialed. So me doing it for so long, there is a awareness level of like, oh shit, really tapped in, compared to like kind of like a little bit off, but it's still there. But I will say it does get easier the more that you do it. It's reps. Like anything you do more of, it's going to start to get easier. You'll be constantly reminded of like, oh, fuck, I got to do that. So that's how I was when I was on these trips. I was like, oh, shit, I got to get this done for the day. I didn't do this yet. So it's a factor of commitment, not missing, and making sure like you say that you're gonna do it in that moment, like make sure you do it in that moment, because everything is based on moments. Because if you focus just on this moment right now, this moment 10, 15 seconds, even, it's all a new moment. You're able to create this moment, or it can be the same moment that you've been living for the past how many fucking years you've been on this earth. So I can change the way I feel, operate, especially once I'm fucking writing in those notes, because instantly that happened on my Florida trip. And then I was like, oh my God, I found the fucking answers of why I felt like shit this morning. Like I was feeling kind of iffy, like with my confidence. Then I started writing on the beach. I was like, oh, stacking all these wins. And then I was like, oh, this is what you need to do. And then I was like, oh, now I know why. And then I'm like, fuck. So it
What
all
was
goes back to the fucking
and what
process.
was it? What was off that day?
It was literally just my confidence. So like, I was leading a group with a whole bunch of guys. We were doing like a burpee workout on a tennis court, and there was something that was like kind of holding me back. It was kind of like I was thrown into the moment, which was fun. It was a dope experience, and then I was like, damn, my confidence feels a little bit low. I was kind of like getting a little bit intimidated, and then I was like, what the fuck? That's not me. And then I was able to speak my opinion, speak my voice, but the thing was, it just didn't feel right specifically with me. And then once I got on the beach, because we were like, it was like a tennis court, and then you could just walk up to the beach. So after we finished the workout, did a little bit of boxing too. I've only done that like once or twice in my life, so that was a really dope experience being able to do that. And yeah, that was the thing too. I felt like weak just doing that, because I'm just like, fuck, I want to be the baddest, like just the best at it, whatever the fuck it is. If it's boxing, if it's burpees, if it's, literally whatever. It doesn't even just fucking NASCAR. Like I want to be first in that fucking like lane. So I wasn't, and I was like, damn, these guys are better. And I'm like, fuck, they got a little bit more muscle on me. So I started getting really in my head. But once I got to the beach, we were done with all that, and I had some time. I was with one homie, and we were talking about it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write for a couple of minutes. So he's like, yeah, do your thing. So I was like, boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, oh, I found the fucking answers. And then it just allowed me to come back to the 10.0 Nick. And then I was like getting dialed again. And then I knew exactly what the fuck I had to work on. So ever since I've been back to, I was like, okay, I can't get like that again. So that's something me that I'm still working on, is my confidence levels. Because I've had this like belief issue ever since I've been young. So there's still times that it comes up where that belief is still not solidified. Obviously, there's on the whole trip as a whole, it was fucking dope. My belief and confidence, everything was so dope. Like the previous day, I was on fire. Like we were in a little mastermind, and I was just voicing my opinion. It was fucking bringing up the energy, but it was because I did my process. The next day, we were moving so fast, I didn't get a chance to do it. And then everything was like a little bit wonky. So I realized that it all comes down to still working on your weaknesses, because under your greatest weaknesses are your greatest strengths. So it's still something at times that I still have to work on. So I know that the 10.0 self Nick would be like, fuck that shit. Like he's good, and he would stick to the process no matter what. So there's still things along my journey that I'm figuring out. And also I'm not perfect. I want to say that, yo, I'm just like anybody else that is listening, because I know there's somebody out there that is on this journey and may think like, oh, you got to be this perfect individual eventually. Like literally, I don't want like putting out the persona of like, yo, I'm fucking perfect. Like that's what I don't want to put out, but that's something that, yes, eventually, that like I like to show the whole fucking journey as it keeps on unraveling, if that makes sense, because then that shows like, oh fuck, like you can come along with me. I'm just gonna be more ahead. That's the only disadvantage, because I've been doing it longer. You may be at chapter 1, I'm gonna be at chapter 20, but don't compare yourself to me. Comparison is the thief of joy. So don't do that. Don't compare yourself to me. So but come with me on this journey, and then just never fucking fold with me. That's all it is.
Bro, yeah, no, that's something I gotta give you props for, is you know, not many people these days have the balls to be honest. Number one, be honest with themselves, but then also to be honest just as a whole. You know, everyone's trying to always be like, I'm the best, I'm the best. And, you know, we live in a world where everyone's trying to show their wins constantly. But it's weird because you mentioned that, and like the book, I've only read one chapter.
Yeah.
And it literally said, you know, champions, winners, the best, they're objective, you know, they don't delude themselves, you know, they look at like where they actually are. I think that was a chapter I was reading. But yeah, they look at where they actually are rather than like making some bullshit up in their head, you know. And I think that's powerful that you do that. And that's that journaling is clearly doing that for you. It's putting it on paper, and you know, you're seeing things for what they actually are. But one thing I'll say is, which is crazy, you know, and hearing that you hit a 10K month, which is pretty fucking insane. Like, not many people can pull that off. Not saying it's impossible. I'm not trying to paint that picture, but it takes a certain amount of work, dedication, and it takes a lot to get to that stage. But what's amazing is, you know, let's just rewind. Like when I first spoke to you, could that guy hit a 10K month?
Bro, I don't. Bro, who is that guy? Holy shit!
Exactly. I don't know who, bro. I don't know who that guy is. I don't even. Yeah, man. I don't even know who that guy is. Like how far you've come and grown is insane. And yeah, man. Do you think, you know, where would you be today? Okay, let's just like, you know, we identified one of the main things that was holding you back was the whole porn thing. So let's say that was still a part of your life now, like hypothetically, where do you think you'd be in comparison to where you are now?
Bro, I'd be 6 feet under. Yeah, that's why I tell, like, literally when I get on podcasts or anything, that's usually what I tend to say is like, I would not be on this podcast with you right now, or this interview, or this mastermind with you guys. Like, I went to the one in Florida last week, on that first day where I was like just fucking radiating everywhere, and that's what I opened up with. I just started telling my story, and I was like, yo, if I didn't stop this porn addiction, I wouldn't be in this room with a whole bunch of ballers making 8, 9, fucking 10 figures. Like,
These guys are no joke. I
yeah,
know
these
who.
guys are fucking ballers. Like, oh, real estate coaches, and they're making figures, bro. Like top people. You know what I'm saying? It's no joke. Like, no, like, yeah, I'm trying to start my coaching business. I'm trying to start my real estate agency or whatever. You know, like these are legit people. Like, these were $1 million condos we were staying at. So, and one guy owned one of them. We were on the bottom level that we were able to rent out the room for a couple of hours. So he lives in that apartment complex. So it was legit. And I just started opening up my story, and I literally said, like, I would not be in this room with all you guys if I was still attached to the porn. It was getting so lonely, so isolated. Even though, so more context is that I'm living with my parents still. But it didn't feel like I was even around anybody. I felt so numb. I felt so dark. Like, I've had this back when I was in college. So I did one semester when I was like 19 at a small they call it a SUNY school here in New York, so a state university of New York school. And it was just a 15-minute drive, and I would get this cloud, this very dark cloud over my head every time I drove there when I would go to class. And I felt like shit. I felt so weak, and I was on the porn at the time. But then back in July of 2022, I felt that same cloud again, just when I was in my house, when I was around my parents, when we would go out to eat, talking to just people, even online, even when we did our Zoom calls, like, I still felt that cloud over my head. And I knew it was that same feeling. So I knew I was going through that depression. And, you know, I had the thoughts like a little bit, if anything, when I was back in college, but not to this extent, where this was like summer of 2022, July especially. And I just knew like this was going to be make or break. It was either gonna be, I'm gonna again be 6 feet under, not be here on this planet anymore, or I'm gonna actually change the fucking of my life, be a man of my word, and say, I'm gonna fucking do this. I'm gonna get myself out of this situation. So then I was like, fuck it, here you go. Here's $3,000 with this one personal development coach at the time. And I never looked back since. it was so much money because there wasn't a lot in my bank account left. And I was like, I'm just gonna do everything this motherfucker says. I'm not gonna question it. I'm gonna shut the fuck up, just listen to him, and then I'm just gonna implement everything. I remember that day I didn't work out. He he gave me like a little bit of a workout just to start, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start hitting some shit. And then like immediately it was also you like send over your photos and your check-ins. So I was like, okay, let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do this next thing. And that just led me to the next thing of what I had to do. And then it was like,
Momentum.
yeah, it was literally like it just got me on purpose because then it made me distracted from the porn, me trying to take my life, me trying to go get chicks. Like I was trying to go on dates, trying to use these dating apps, but it just led me to just soft porn and then eventually just hardcore fucking porn every fucking day. And it made me feel so like discouraged as an individual. My confidence was so low at this point, head down when I would walk anywhere. You know, I don't want to be that guy at the fucking club on his phone scrolling with his thumbs and he's on the weather app. Like fuck that shit. That's not me. Because we recently went to the club when we were in Mexico. I didn't drink, by the way, so I'm staying disciplined. I just went because
I
I
saw
was
you
like,
guys. I saw you guys
I'm just
partying, man.
yeah, like I just wanted to let loose. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't on my phone at all, nothing. And total 360 as well. Chicks coming up behind me, grabbing my fucking waist. I'm just hanging out with the boys, you know, like no pure intentions of going up to women or anything. I'm just like, program, stay disciplined. You know, I'm just trying to have fun with everybody. I'm not going to see these guys for a while. I just met some of them too. Everyone was super dope, especially with Jeremy. I was like, dude, first time with him. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So yeah, these two chicks come up behind me. I'm like, okay, well, shit, this is fucking happening. And then one of them just starts grinding on me. I'm like, oh, like, you know, so it's like total 360. And me back in 2022, I would have wished for something like that, you know, but I knew I had to become at this very point that man to say, oh, fuck, now this shit just happens to me because I used to chase them all the time and then I would get nothing in return. They would just flake on me, leave me on red, try to go for FaceTime, nothing would fucking work. They would just ghost, whatever. And then
I
it's like,
remember we had that conversation. You were like,
yeah,
man, I need like, not, you're just a natural craving for feminine energy. And I remember saying like, yo, forget that. Just keep hustling, keep grinding. Like, I think that's a big mistake of guys. I don't know. What was that like for you? Did you find that a lot of that was a waste of time, Tinder and trying to hit dates? I think
yeah,
it's a problem
totally.
you face when you get to another level with, before it's you can't even get a date. Then it's like, okay, you get to another level where it's like, okay, I can get dates, but like these dates are pointless.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like, even with here's where it gets crazy is that when I was in the club and the chicks were grinding on me and everything and touching me from behind, I'm like, cool, this is a dope ass moment. But I'm like, dude, I don't need this shit. You
Mm.
know, I'm like, I'm probably never gonna see you again. I'm here in Mexico. You know, like I will say they were a little bit intoxicated too. And I'm just like, that's not what I see myself with, obviously, you know, with the woman. So it's more just focusing on myself where I attract that woman that, you know, I can see and appreciate her beauty, number one. I mean, I did it with those chicks, but it just wasn't ideal of a woman that I could see myself with, but it was also where I don't need a woman. I don't need anybody. I'm good with myself. You know, I'm at that level of awareness and conscious congruency and just with the work that I put in so far, it's like, dude, I'm gonna be fine regardless because I'm just gonna keep doing all of the things that got me to this very moment so far. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I don't need the apps, I don't need all this shit. And I'm just like, dude, it's like, oh my God, the fucking energy it takes to even do this shit, to write those messages, to oh well, is she gonna like reply back? And then I'm like, oh my, like why the fuck? Like fuck that shit. Like I don't even try now though too. Like that's what I was getting at with this with the club and then even with the gym is like all these chicks, they naturally just come up to me. Like I didn't do anything. Not one thing. Like in the past, it was the total opposite, where I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like like let me let me
Dancing
like
monkey, yeah.
like let me try to fuck the shit out of you, da 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 da, and then like it wouldn't work. Nothing would go to that point. Now it's like, oh shit, Poppy's here, like I want to fuck the shit out of him type shit, but I'm just like, I don't need it though. Like that's where my head is at, is like I
Mm.
don't need these chicks. I don't need um especially right now, it's like I don't need a woman. Like I know there's still so much work that I have to do for myself. There's so much more personal development to eventually get that woman in my life that is like all across the board exactly what the fuck I want, you know? And it's like the only way to get that is being the person that can attract that. So it's like the who process. Who does Nick have to be to attract that type of woman into his life? Because he's not going to get it from a chick in Mexico at the club, that's like half drunk, half off her ass,
Yeah, bro. No, I get what you're saying, and it's one of those paradoxes that I'm into, where I'll be honest, like I came out of a relationship in about April, so I was with my ex-girlfriend for like 2 years, and then obviously I was single, so I was like, confident, all a lot of changed in that time period, so I was definitely getting more attraction, and yeah, I went into like, I don't know, I think women were coming to me, I had already had in my head, yo, I'm trying to focus, trying to build a business, but
Right.
I was kind of like half-assing it, and I was like, oh, I'll go on one date, and I was kind of justifying it, and then something happened, something just clicked where I was just like, this is just this is bullshit. Like, this is
Yeah.
bullshit. You can't have both. You can't have both. You can't chase. They say the same: chase two rabbits, catch none. And
Mhm.
I swear on my life, man, I said to myself, okay, next girl that hits me up, I'm just gonna ignore her. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care. I don't care if she hits me up. I'm just gonna ignore her. Exactly what I did. And bro, business like started to increase. I was getting more clients. So I was breaking through. And you know what happened? What similar to what you said, I was more happy alone, building and getting those results that I really wanted. And I think what I realized was going on those dates was just trying to, it's almost like fapping it in a way where it's like you're just trying to get that high of like a bit
Yeah.
of feminine energy, a little bit of flirting, a good experience.
Touch,
And
all these
that's
things.
that's
Like,
you
yeah.
numbing yourself from the reality because you're not showing up as this guy. But if you just show up as this guy and do the things you actually want to do at your masculine core, you're going to feel fulfilled and happy. And there's going to be no women involved, And women aren't an issue. Like you get to a certain point, I'm sure you would agree. Once you've got, once you're on lock, once you've got everything in line, there's women are just naturally drawn to you. It's just how it is, So you can't get distracted from that. And it's impressive that you could keep that focus when you were in Mexico, man. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
and okay, so like something that I talked to the guys that were in Mexico, because they were drinking a little bit, I will say, and I wasn't.
Yeah, I saw a little bit.
Yeah, so they were, and then I wasn't. Like I'm just talking about the club scene. So when you're intoxicated, you don't really feel any of that shit. Like your dick doesn't go up, right? So I'm in these like, because we just came from the beach, so I'm in these like one fabric like swim shorts, like yeah, just swim shorts, right? And the chick's grinding on me. I need to pull away because I'm not intoxicated. So I'm feeling everything that's going on with the chick on me. The guys that were intoxicated, they weren't getting hard and all this shit because the fucking alcohol is just in their system. They're numb right now. Me, I feel everything. So I'm like, my discipline was so top notch too. Once I started to feel like, oh fuck, my dick's going up, I gotta pull away, And I know if I didn't have that level of discipline, everything that I've sacrificed, everything that I've done, I knew like, oh fuck, this could get nasty real quick. Because of my addiction in the past, where it almost comes off like perverted, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So and going back to what you just said, there's been so many times, especially what was it, from February of this year to May, when I was in a deficit and I got chopped, shredded again. So I've gone through two fat loss phases where I felt like fucking amazing, where I could just tap into source. I could hear just God telling me what to do next, like everything in my fucking skull, like, okay, you got to do this now. During that specific time frame, in this room, just doing burpees and push-ups, I felt more at fucking peace compared to being in that club with that chick grinding on me. You know,
Yep.
like I just felt so aligned. I felt so just at peace and with my 10.0 self and say like, fuck yeah, yeah, you're striving for this bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then it's cool that I could go out into the real world and then I could go experience something like that at the club. And then I can be like, okay, now I'm gonna dial it back and then I'm gonna go back and just do my own thing now for like
Yeah.
three,
Yeah. Yeah.
12 months. But my thing is like, okay, how can I continue to keep this going? You know what I'm saying? As long as possible and not break. Because even Jeremy said himself, right? Like he was like, bro, your level of discipline, like he talked to me on the side when we were there. He was like, your level of discipline is fucking like insane. I have never seen anything like it. Don't let anybody take that away from you. So there was a lot of respect out of him saying that because he's a very disciplined person as well. But he just saw that literally I was like, yo, 24/7, 365. That's how I see this shit. There is no off days, there are no off switches. But I will say, like, okay, yeah, there is times where I get sick, but I'm still showing the fuck up with what I can control. That's the fucking difference. It's not like I'm just sleeping in and saying, oh, I'm just going to take like a week off or a couple of days off. No, like it's like I'm still going to get up. I'm still going to do my own thing. I'm still going to do what I can control, even when so much shit is against me. That's the main difference between a elite person and a fucking average motherfucker. Elite motherfucker will just do whatever it takes, doesn't give a fuck, finds a way, still shows up. But then these average motherfuckers out here are just like, oh, man, it's a hard day. I'm just going to sleep in because I deserve it. It's like, how are you going to get better? How are you going to be able to level up? Like, you still got the taco tits, man. Like, when are those shits going to go away? Like, are you going to go hit the gym today? Probably not, because you're sleeping in. That's one thing off the fucking discipline checklist I have for my guys. It's like, there's a whole list of things like no alcohol, no drugs, no fucking porn, no all these things. Then you're going to massively be ahead, and literally 99% are not going to do it. Just be that 1% motherfucker. That's how all this shit works. And you'll be massively ahead. Not many people want to do it though. So it's like, who do you have to become to say, yeah, I want to be that motherfucker? Because there's a lot of this, just this all day. Yeah, I want to drop the weight. Yeah, I want to be the best. But then it's like, it's actually time to go. And then it's like, oh, this is what it fucking takes. Oh shit. Nah, sorry.
Yeah, man, 100%. No, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You've definitely got an insane amount of discipline. I respect it a lot, and your energy is great. I mean, to think that right now you're not feeling well is kind of blows my mind. I can't even tell.
We're
You're
in
just
flow state.
on lock.
I totally forgot I was sick, bro. That's what it
Yeah. So a
is.
lot of this stuff isn't. A lot of this stuff is mental. It's a mental game, and it's about being a professional. Like you said, you know, you want to sleep in, and all these things have consequences. If you don't make sacrifices for your goals become the sacrifice. And that's the thing. Um, and yeah, and I think not everyone's wired that way. Not everyone is wired to be like yourself. Or even myself, and have these kind of goals that they want to hit. But some people are. That's the thing. And some people are, but they're not living up to it. And that's when that little voice in their head is like, yo, come on, like let's make something happen. And if that's you, man, you just got to I don't know, what advice would you give to someone like that if they have that voice, what would you say to them?
You got to listen to it. That's what I did. Like, stop avoiding it. Stop having your ego. That's the other big thing, too. A lot of us have a fat fucking ego. Stop
Mm-hmm.
letting your ego on the 3D. When I mean 3D, I mean the physical plane, the physical world. Stop listening to that. Stop listening to the ego and say, no, I don't need a coach. I don't need somebody to guide me. I got this. Okay, so you've been saying that for the past 6, 12 months, or even 5 to 5 years. How, like, have you gotten any results out of that? I don't think so. I think you need a level up from somebody that's ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? When they look at me sometimes, they're like, oh, he's only 23. What the fuck does he know? I'm like, I know more than you. Okay. Are you ripped? No, you're not. Okay, so I know something more than you. You still got the tits, you still got the gut. Okay, let me help you get out of that. Oh, you got a shit dog mindset, you're still broke as fuck. Oh my God, let me help you with that. You know what I'm saying? Let me break any limitations. Oh, you can't commit. Oh, I'll help you with that. So I know shit because I invested from top individuals and I provided it into my own program where I took everything from everybody, including you, and then I just put it into my own NICK DRIVAS program. You know what I'm saying? The Unbreakable Lifestyle Program, I call it. So literally, because I was able to do this for myself, I had the opportunity to invest over and over again and learn, take that time and apply everything on top of that. Now I'm massively ahead because I just do it. It's what I live by. Like how I said, the program that I run now, it saved my own life. I was going to take my own life. So when somebody has such a fat ego and they're like, well, you're only 23, it's like, oh my God, how much self-investment have you done? You know, it's like they probably never have. So that's what I'm saying. If they actually invest into me or whoever, I don't give a fuck. Literally, if they invested into themselves, finally drop their ego, listen to that voice and say, hey, I need a mentor, I need a coach, I need somebody to guide me to get out of this situation. If it's weight loss, if it's literally mindset issues, if it's a vice, an addiction, whatever that case may be, literally listen to it, shut the fuck up when you make that investment, make the investment quick, write out if you have to. This is what I did. I wrote out in my notes section when it was July 2022 and I went to that personal development coach. I wrote out right before, as I'm going upstairs on my phone, what I'm going to say to this guy, and I'm going to pay this guy whatever the fuck the amount is. I don't care. And I wrote out a long message, sent it. He was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Here's the payment link. Did it through DM. Boom. Let's go. $3,000 it was. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. And then I just kept listening as that voice was like, okay, now we got through that plateau of what it was saying. Hey, you need to go to that coach. Now here's the next thing. Here's the next thing. And then et cetera, et cetera. And now we're here.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, no, 100%. You're an action taker, you know. You don't fuck around. You know what you've got to do, and you know. I don't think. I mean, who knows? But I don't know how many guys this coach has had who are just like, was it like DM close or what?
This was a DM close. And actuality with this coach, he didn't go through with it. I'll be transparent. I won't say who it was, but literally to the point, he saw how dedicated I was, how chopped I got in 3 months. He was like, yo, do you want to be like the fitness coach? And I'll take on the elite guys. It didn't go through, but just the fact is like, and then I asked him, like, why me? Because he had like 30 clients. You know what I'm saying? They were all getting chopped. He was like, why me? He's like, you never missed on your macros. I didn't miss one fucking macro. I started at 1700. We went all the way down to 1300. I didn't miss one macro in terms of calories and then my proteins, fats, and carbs. I didn't miss one fucking workout. I tracked everything. I tracked on TrainerWise is what we used. And I wrote down everything in my phone as I went through the workout, how many reps I did, what the weight was, hit it, put whatever the fucking intensity of the workout was. And then I did everything else and I showed up to every call that we had because we have one-on-one calls every single week. I just did the fucking work, and anything he said to do, I did. That was it. That was the major difference. I did not fucking miss. Oh, also, that discipline checklist that he taught me that I teach now to my guys, I did also not miss, was sending that over through the DM over that 3-month period. And it had all check boxes of like 15 things. I would make it on my Instagram story, put the check marks every single night or an X if I missed it, but I would still do it honestly, save it, send it to him, be like, with the date, and I would do it every fucking night. Didn't matter what was going on. So I built through the reps that non-negotiable shit. We just took it at an elite level to get me out of my situation.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, and it clearly taking that action to the T, you can't fail. If you actually do the work, You just can't fail. You just can't.
No.
It's impossible, you know. But yeah, what I was going to say also is like how much, you know, because some people out there have never invested in themselves. Some guy may be watching this and is like, yo, what? These guys are like, because I'm the same. We're pretty much the same age. I'm turning 23 in December. We're thinking, how are these like, what's going on? Who are these guys? You know, why are they so,
Yeah.
or at least, you know, they want to take a page out of our book or whatever. How much, you know, when it comes to investing in yourself, I know it took me a while to kind of pluck up the courage to do it, but when you do it, it has a massive return on investment. How much have you invested? Do you know a number? Have you been
Yeah,
tracking?
I did
Even?
it.
Yeah, knowing
I
you.
did it recently, actually. I really broke it down. So ever since I take it all the way back, because when I really started investing in myself, I take it all the way back when I got this certification, because I had this when we were doing the coaching, like I think a year already into it. So my ISSA certification, that was, I believe, around like $500. So plus that, plus like literally grands on thousands of tens of thousands of dollars over since 2021 to now, is around 25 to almost $30,000 invested into myself of other coaching programs, mentors, just guidance from anybody. Um, like that's what I'm saying, that like, and that's nothing. Like at a bigger level, at the ball and level, like people are doing like 100 grand a year
Yeah.
into, self-investment for themselves. So if you haven't invested a fucking dime into yourself, you gotta get on it. Like there's no question. You know, we all need help from other people that are ahead. Because if you want the results, if you want to be like that person that you say that you want to be, and you admire in some way or inspired by them, then what is it gonna take? Like, what's the cost of you ending up in a hospital bed because you didn't take that action, that investment, and you're now on that deathbed, and you have a smoking like cigarette addiction, and you got a tube now in your fucking throat and you can't speak, and you have to use a fucking whiteboard to talk to your family? Is that what it's gonna take? Like, gee shit, because it happened to my fucking grandmother and I had to live with it. Like, is that the cost of it? Same thing with alcohol, any addiction. Or your doctor saying that literally you're on life support, you're 300 pounds and you got diabetes now, and you got like a year to live. Is that what it's going to take? Straight selfish, if you ask me, if you don't invest into yourself now. There's always a new level to be hit. There's no ceiling.
Yeah, man, it never, like you said, it never ends. You know, this whole journey never ends, and
Yeah.
it's all map. You know, what 10K investing in yourself, it won't at one point in your life is like, oh my god, that's so much, and then later down the line, it's like, oh, that's nothing. You know, there's levels. You know,
Oh, yeah.
so it never ends. One other thing, like you mentioned, alcohol's come up a few times. Is that something you just avoid completely?
Yeah, I can avoid it. So I don't know how the fuck I've been blessed with this. Like, as I said before, in high school, never like I take 2 sips of it when I was like 13, 14 years old. It was actually my parents that offered it to me. Like I just took a tiny little sip. I was like, oh my God, this shit is fucking disgusting. And I never touched it really since. Like literally, I think no, there wasn't there wasn't a time. I thought, no, it was only the 2 times with my parents, but there was times where people again asked me like, hey, why don't you drink? You want to come to this party? Like all these things. I'm just like, no, I just didn't involve myself with it because at the time I was doing basketball. So I had some sort of purpose at the time. But I always ran to the porn. That was my vice. For me, Nick Drivas, my vice was porn. It was never drugs. The most I did was smoke CBD or a cigar. That was the most that I did, like smoking wise. There was no even really weed, any marijuana, meth, no crazy hard drugs. um I don't know, I was just able to avoid it and just say like, nah, I don't want to do it, but those were times when I had purpose. But still, when I did have the purpose, with whatever I was going after, it was the porn. I kept running to the porn because that's what was like very easy for me. I suffer from low self-esteem. So that's what I would run to. And I thought it would help me, but it was actually just hurting me in the long run.
100%, man. And you got a lock on that, and look at you now, man, killing it, living your best life,
Yeah.
making moves, just yeah, just on that mission. And you inspire me a lot, man. I'll be honest, there's not many people that actually inspire me, to be honest, but you do,
Oh
so
shit.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of respect for you. Like I've seen it too. That's the thing. I think a lot of people might click on Nick and think, oh yeah, this guy's just born like this. But if they could see the whole journey, they'd be like, damn, and that's really what makes it special, is that there's a key transformation that's happened there. That's really powerful. So yeah, man.
And what's crazy is like, bro, this, come on, like this is nothing. Like in my head, it's like with body dysmorphia with working out. It's like, oh, you get a little bit of size or you get a little shredded, and then you're like, ah, fuck, I want more.
Mm.
Like, oh, I'm not happy. I look like shit. Feel like that's how I feel right now. I'm like, oh fuck, I just hit 10K in a month. I'm like, God damn it. Like, where's 20K now? I'm like, this is nothing. Like, oh, I just took these two masterminds. Like, nothing. I'm like, come on. I was like, okay, 50-foot yacht. That was cool. All these cool ass things, led a group of like 20 fucking soldiers out on a tennis court in fucking West Palm Beach, Florida. That was dope as fuck, leading by example. But like, there's so much more that I'm just like, yo, this was nothing. All those experience, I'm like grateful for them. Like that's the key thing. Have the gratitude, but it's like never fucking satisfied. That's the main thing. Like be so never be complacent. Like never be like, okay, yeah, this is what I want. Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay, now I'm gonna like sleep in, do drugs again, watch porn again, like all these things. No, you can't do that. Like it's a never fucking ending cycle. And that's how the best be the best. That's how it is. The three traits of a hyper successful person: never satisfied, impulse control, meaning literally just staying proactive and stoic, not being reactive to anything. And then the last one is just being the best motherfucker and knowing that. That's it. Just knowing that you're better than everybody else. No, that's not cockiness. If you get that fucking twisted, you're just a soft little princess. That's all that is.
There you go, man. This guy, Nick, man. It's been sick talking to you. You got a lot of great wisdom. You lead by example. You practice what you preach. You're not just talking at your ass. So I respect that. And yeah, I think anyone who's watching this is going to be a lot of value to unpack, a lot of inspiration, and hopefully motivates people to, gives them that inspiration to just like to make that shift, make that leap, to move forward and progress, man. So, any final thoughts before we jump off?
Man, I always got to leave it with literally creating the best individual across the board and just giving that individual to the world. That's it. That's what I always leave people with, because it's literally the thing that I had to do. I had to first work on myself. If you're not getting the results that you want, if it's financially, physically, or anything, it's because you're not being guided properly. So you have to go to an individual that actually has the results, and you can invest in and say, okay, this is the person that I'm going to go to, and I'm going to get the results because I trust in them and they are living the example, leading by example. I do it on purpose because I was that fuck up. If you go all the way down my shit, go to my Instagram, like I fucked up, you know what I'm saying? And I put on the mask the whole time. I was lying to myself. And that's not the individual that I would give to the world. And I always wonder why there was no sales coming in. There was no chicks, no and any of this shit. It was because I wasn't operating at my best. But I had to work on myself. I had to put a lot of sacrifice. Sacrifice creates paradise. So all that sacrifice, the more work that I continue to do every single day, it's only making this whole process so much easier, for closing on sales, to literally whatever the case may be, my physique, any of these things. That's all it is now everything is just flowing. It's at a whole different frequency, a whole different level, but it wasn't this easy from the get. So I'll be so transparent. It's gonna be hard. Okay. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Definitely at first. It's like delayed gratification, the compound effect. At first, you got to like really do it over and over and over again. And then it starts to spiral up. Like it goes like, whoop,
You're
and
playing
then
on a runaway, you know? You've got to
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
generate a ton of momentum, and then once you get to a point, it takes off, and there's not so much work that has to be done to maintain, you know? Or
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
riding a bike, you know, you got to pedal really hard to get the bike going, but once you're going, you
And
don't have to
then,
do that much pedaling, you know?
but like you said, you have to maintain it now. So that's the
You
next
still have
thing
to put
is
the work in, yeah.
because you can get to the top. You can get to the top in whatever the fuck field you're in, but can you stay at the top? Right? Do you still have the habits that got you there in the first place? Do you still stick to those habits? Do you still live by those habits? So that's my main thing because I've gained a following on TikTok, but I lost it all. It was because I didn't build it off a solid foundation. So don't cheat it. Build a solid foundation with what you're doing. And that's what I focus on in my program. That's what I do. Because if you don't have these habits solidified, you are going to break. You are not, you are going to just fold. You're going to be a bitch. You're going to feel like a bitch. And for me, I wanted to take my life away. That's just how it was. It was that serious because I felt so weak. But then I learned I needed to get these habits in order. And then everything just started to work. And now it's just about maintaining it, hitting new levels, because with new levels, new devils. And then from there, just continue to do this and just never fucking be satisfied. And that's through, again, coming all back to this, being that peace offering to the world. That's all it is. It's not about me. It's not about me anymore. It's for you guys, people listening. Ben, even you, you're inspired by me. Like, that's all it is. It's not about Nick Drivas. Fuck him. Like, it's fuck. I just spit all over my computer, but like literally, like, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's to show you guys. There's so many DMs I get every single day. Yo, what the fuck? How the fuck are you doing this? It's not how, it's who. Through just creating that unbreakable individual. That's all it is, to simplify. I could go on for hours.
Yeah, man, this goes, no, 100%. I get where you're coming from. And yeah, it is just about getting those habits in order, doing, getting that process. You do the right processes, you're going to get the right results. And it's that simple, but yeah, we make it so complicated. But no, Nick, Brand, it's been a great conversation. I think we should definitely do this again in the near future, for sure. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming on to talk today. If anyone's watching this and they want to follow Nick or they're interested in working with him, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so on Instagram is the best way. I answer all my DMs. You're talking to me. You're not talking to some fucking robot. You can follow me at Nick Drivas Fit, NICKDRIVAS, and then the word fit. And then if you're interested in the programs, you want to get on the program, I got the 2 levels. I'll hit you with whatever one I feel is the best for you based on your financial decision, and also just what you're trying to work on as well. I'll hit you with whatever program I feel is best for you, and we'll get you started right then and there. And we get you on the team just through the DM or over a phone call. That's it. So you just got to hit me once you're ready, and we'll take it from there.
Cool, guys. Well, there you have it. Thank you, everyone who's made it to the end. And Nick, thank you very much for coming on. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Hell yeah, bro.
Cool.
Let's go.